The old antiquated system of paper documents is being dismantled and replaced with artificial intelligence, and millions of MAGA fans are celebrating this without even considering the replacement, which will be digital. Blockchain technology, which appeared mysteriously in the Bitcoin white paper, is well suited for tagging and tracing every living person on the planet and every transaction we make. In the current system, a birth certificate of title is registered for every child born. This is provided a paper record with minimal information. But with biometric data, the new system is capable of assigning a digital ID to every living man, woman, and child born. Locked into the blockchain from day one, every person's carbon footprint can be monitored, their compliance measured, and their overall value to the system can be calculated in real time. Blockchain is an immutable, time-stamped record of every interaction and exchange. And it's not just individuals who will have a digital ID. Every business, every product, and everything we interact with will have a digital ID. This is called tokenization, and it's happening right now. From the perspective of control, it is the most effective method of controlling human behavior that the world has ever known. And while many argue that the blockchain is not capable of doing all this, the problem has already been solved. It's called Hashgraph, and it appears to be ready for deployment.
And the worst part? These criminals face zero consequences for what they're doing to you. The reality is, your personal information is out there, exposed and vulnerable. It's on you to protect yourself. That's why we trust and personally use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura does all the heavy lifting to keep you safe online. They take action against these data brokers and companies who are selling your personal information, going after them directly and submitting opt-out requests on your behalf. You don't have to lift a finger. Aura handles it. But that's not all. Here's where it gets even more serious. Aura doesn't just stop there. They continuously monitor the dark web for any trace of your personal data. If they find your information floating around in places it shouldn't be, Aura will alert you immediately. They'll let you know fast if anyone is trying to use that data to access your credit accounts or even drain bank accounts. And if the worst happens to you, Aura has you covered. They offer up to $5 million in identity theft insurance to help you recover if someone gets a hold of your information and tries to do real damage. Don't wait until it's too late. Head over to our link, aura.com/anonymous, to try Aura free for 14 days. That's plenty of time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed and start protecting you from these threats.
Hashgraph is exponentially more efficient than blockchain. Able to handle hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, it uses practically zero energy. It is the perfect digital branding iron for human chattel in the new AI digital control grid. Hedera, the company behind the Hashgraph system, is already partnered and connected with major corporations and governments. The Institute of International Finance has tapped Hedera as the only Layer 1 tech to explore blockchain solutions for tokenized financial assets. And this is how the carbon tax will be calculated.
Has there been a response to this? Like, is this something that's...
I talked to the Biden administration, incoming administration, and they were like, well, this seems too politically difficult. And I was like, well, this is obviously a thing that should happen.
And even some sort of an incremental increase over time.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to
warn people.
Yeah, say it. Just if you just say it's coming, people will automatically make the changes.
That seems so reasonable.
Yeah, I agree.
And they were like,
They thought it was like too politically difficult, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's like at least half the reason you got elected. So why don't you just fight for that? You know, there's just one thing that will matter: put a price on carbon.
That would be the best option.
For sure.
That seems like it'd be such a good idea.
Like, what do 90% of economists think? And like, they all agree. Okay, we should do that.
It was too politically difficult for Elon to introduce a carbon tax under President Biden because the MAGA cult would have resisted it. But they have become cheerleaders for the new system and all things Elon. So now the gates are wide open. Democratic Party member Maxine Waters recently introduced bipartisan stablecoin legislation. This aligns with what the Trump administration has been proposing and is expected to be passed into law without any pushback. This will create a digital dollar backed by U.S. Treasury bills and other debt instruments. But the United States has been bankrupt for decades, and a complete financial crash is imminent. Once the dollar dies, the already legally accepted stablecoins will then be pegged to Bitcoin, and the new digital system will be the savior. It will be celebrated for saving us from a depression, securing our borders, and protecting the children. And the carbon tax will begin.
But it's really fundamental. Unless there's a price put on carbon,
we're never going to be able to make the transition that we need to in time, correct?
yeah. And the only way to do that is basically with a carbon tax.
Everybody knows it's coming, and the people who don't embrace it early are going to ultimately lose.
Eric Trump recently met with Michael Saylor at Mar-a-Lago, who has been proposing a plan to preserve U.S. dollar dominance by utilizing Bitcoin as a reserve.
Here's the strategy. You dump gold, demonetize the entire gold network, you buy Bitcoin, you buy 5 million or 6 million Bitcoin, you monetize the Bitcoin network, and you just define digital currency as the US dollar backed by US dollar equivalents in a regulated US custodian. Replaces every currency in the world with the dollar, which the US controls, and it siphons off hundreds of trillions of dollars of 20th century capital assets and half of the capital in the rest of the world. And 75% of the capital of our enemies gets siphoned into Bitcoin. And the big beneficiary is the US government. And after that, every US company, because we're the ones that own and run it.
Trump has been rebranding the North American Union as Canada being the 51st state of the United States. And Justin Trudeau has now resigned, leaving a clear path for Pierre Poilievre to make significant changes.
We haven't really seen a lot of concrete proposals from Mr. Poilievre. I mean, he did make one. That's not fair. You're right. He had one great opportunity for people to opt out of inflation. He recommended this last spring. You can opt out of inflation if you invest your money in Bitcoin. Yeah. No. He stayed up late, watched all sorts of YouTube videos, and came to that conclusion. He said that himself.
We're going to buy this shawarma with this Bitcoin. Send.
Done. Yep, I got it.
You got the deal?
Guys, we did it. We bought the shawarma with Bitcoin.
So that is my plan, to enable Canada to become the blockchain and crypto capital of the world.
Debt slavery has existed on Earth for thousands of years, which is why a cashless society has been of great concern to freedom-loving souls. In the earliest days of civilization, farmers would borrow against their harvest, and if the harvest failed, the farmer would lose everything and become a slave until the debt was repaid. Eventually, the amount of slaves with nothing to lose becomes a threat to those in power, and so debt jubilees were issued at regular intervals as a matter of public stability. The Bible describes a debt jubilee that would happen every 50 years as an economic reset, a year of liberation and restoration where debts are forgiven, land is returned, and slaves are set free. The ancient Greeks had debt jubilees to avoid violent revolutions and uprisings. As economist Lynn Alden wrote, it wasn't out of kindness that rulers did this. It was a solution to a societal math problem. If you run a computer long enough, eventually it starts to work less efficiently. Refreshing the power and rebooting the system gets the computer running smoothly again. A Jubilee year has been celebrated every 25 years by the Catholic Church since 1300, but the need for debt forgiveness has been avoided by the current debt-based fiat system and the Uniform Commercial Code, which has been running for nearly a century, and it is at its end. 2025 is a Jubilee year, and Pope Francis has called on affluent countries to forgive debts and to address ecological debt, which sounds like a carbon tax. The emerging system is much more than just money. It is a cataloging system where every person and every piece of property can be connected via a digital identity. This is called tokenization and is set to replace the birth certificate and every other document of title in the real world. Biblical prophecy Christians are saying that this is the mark of the beast, but there is no need for a mark when facial recognition will do the job. And if it comes with debt forgiveness and universal basic income, then those who fight against the system will be seen as terrorists by the public.
What's going to happen is the U.S. dollar is going to be the world reserve currency, and it's going to run on billions and billions of mobile devices. And the digital asset that underlies that currency is going to be Bitcoin.
So